All right, we're here with Lucas, the Xing God.
What's up?
How do we do? What place?
I got 9th technically. I lost an ASIM to Liam. But yeah, pretty good run.
Oh, Liam Halliburton beat you? Never mind, let's go. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Okay, what'd you play?
I played like Mega Absol, the Kangaskhan deck. It was definitely really good. For the deck, I was like pretty standard for a lot of the counts. 2 Mega Kangaskhan, like the best starter in your deck in your draw engine. 2 Mega Absol, like your best attacker.
Turn it around so I can see.
Oh, sorry. And then we did, I think a count that a lot of people were cutting on. We did 2 Evoltol. A lot of people were running only 1. And I thought like a lot of people were only playing 1 in their deck as like it's like for fun. They didn't really know like why it was so good. It's like obviously really good to like move with your Petch, but the trapping is like really good. It was like our main Dango strategy. I'll talk about it later when the next card comes up. But and also not even just like getting the full trap, but like just buying a turn to like heal your Absol with your monkeys, or just like getting a turn back to set up a bigger combo was like really nice. And like the kind of greedier count we ended up going to was 2 monkeys. I think every other Absol list plays 3 as like the standard count, but 2 felt kind of like it was like worth the greed to cut down, just because a lot of matchups you can kind of manage with 1. Holtz and Grim were the only ones you really wanted 2, so if you prize 1 it was kind of an issue, but it wasn't like the end of the world, so we thought we could be a bit greedy with the counts. And then the other standard stuff is like Latias is another pivot, Fez, Ursaluna is another attacker, Psyduck obviously, and then another interesting card we played Genesect, just because again it's with our Dango strategy that I'll talk about later. It's also really good against Mirror. If you go second, we usually, against Mirror, going second, we actually prioritize getting the charm down on the Genesect over energizing, just because stopping them from trawling is like so strong. It's also really good in like some niche scenarios against Gardevoir to block box. So it was definitely like pretty good. And then supporters, our supporter count is like kind of interesting, I guess. Standard like 4 Arvin, 4 Boss. Like you can't cut down on these counts ever. 3 Penny, also really good. 2 Iono. I kind of wanted 3 Iono, but 2 was definitely enough. And I guess the next interesting card is Cypher. A lot of people play Lily in this slot. I think Lily is 10 times worse than this card. I think with this kind of deck, you compile a lot of cards in your hand, so you usually don't even want to be shuffling. Like Lily's a slightly better early game, but with Cypher, I feel like with Lily, when you're playing Lily, you're trying to look for these very specific cards, and like but it's like luck, right, when you're playing Lily. But whereas Cypher, like you just guarantee the 2 cards you want off the Kang like every time, and it's also really strong in like the late game when you're like going to get Iono really low and you just stack a boss on top of your deck with Cypher, and it's like really strong. And then the really interesting card, I guess, is 2 Ericas. This card is definitely really good. A lot of the Dango techs that people were playing in Absol didn't beat or weren't really good in any other matchup. Like the Toadstool and like the Cornerstone weren't really that great. So this is definitely like kind of a more fringe strategy where we try to like, if they bench Solrock, Boomtone, or Fez or Genesect, we can trap it with Evoltol, and then if they ever Turo it, we can Erica it back into play. So that was kind of the plan, was to just like get a full lock on. And a lot of the time when people would lose to this game 1, they would switch to a strategy where they wouldn't put the rocks in play, but then my Absol would just start attacking, and they didn't have a good enough draw engine to actually hit the knockout a lot of the time, so my Absol would get like 2 hits and like rip like 2 really important cards out of their hand, and it was like too far for them to come back. So that was like kind of our Dango strategy. It like worked with the Genesect too to block the Prime Catcher. Trainer counts 3 gear, or item counts is 3 gear. I think 3 gear is really good just because like there's so many points in the game where you just need to find specific supporters, like Arvin turn 1, like Boss like on almost like every other turn past turn 1, like Pennies and all this stuff. Like 3 gear is definitely really good in this deck. 3 Stretchers also really good, and kind of the reason why we were able to play 2 Monkey with like more recovery. It's like so good in the mid game when you're like it's like the dark energy in the mid game all the time, where it's like finding your monkey back, and it's just like really strong. 2 Nest Ball, 1 Trolley, yeah, like pretty standard counts for Absol decks, just for Pokemon Surge. 2 CC, just like standard stuff. 1 Vessel, 1 E-Switch. This card was kind of mid for me, the Ice Cream. It's definitely really good in some spots, and you could get punished by not playing it, but I really didn't get much value out of it this weekend, and I probably would cut it going into the future. And And then Stadiums is Town Store, pretty good card, just like really good against Bolt when they're jamming tower. And you really just need a Stadium bump that isn't a Watchtower, because we also play Watchtower, just because it makes your Zord matchup so much more comfortable. You can beat Zord without it, but it's so, you have to work so much harder, and with this, it just makes the matchup so much easier, so we thought it was worth playing. And then like standard tool count, a double charm, double team energize, and then 7 dark, double mist, pretty classic. Yeah.
Damn. All right. So, if we cut this card, what are we putting in?
It could be a lot of things. It could be third monkey, which is like pretty good. It could be second E switch, would be nice. It could be even a third Iona would be not bad, or maybe a third Stadium too sometimes. I did get got by a Watchtower like once or twice, and it was really annoying. But it could be a lot of things. Kind of like it depends on kind of the meta and like what you're expecting to hit. Like I think right now I would like it to be a second E switch, just because I really like this E switch card. I think it enables a lot of strong mid and late game plays. But it could be a lot of things. But I would probably say second E switch right now.
How many times did you Erica's invitation?
So many times. There were a lot of times, like I did this against Pults to trap something, because a lot of Pults either play 1 or 0 Turo, and sometimes if you rip it out of their hand, it's really good to just trap something. I used it against Dango, obviously. It won me a game against Pults where I needed 2 prizes, and I whiffed boss, and I drew an Erica, and I was like really debating on whether I should play it or not. And I ended up playing it, and I hit Latios out of his hand for game. And then another good time I used it was against the Grimsnarl matchup. A lot of the time when you're attacking with Absol, you gotta look at their hand, right? So against the Grim opponent, I attacked his hand, and I looked at his hand, he had Ursaluna in it, and he had a Lily, and like no other supporter, so I ripped the Lily out of his hand, so I knew the Ursaluna was gonna stay there unless he top decked the supporter, and then I was able to like monkey kill his Badoo to open up bench spot, and then I Erica's the Ursaluna into the active, and it's like basically over at that point, because they have basically 0 way to pivot, and the Ursaluna took up a spot which could have been a Monkey Dory, and if they have Frost Lass in play, they're just like compounding so much damage on their board that it's just like impossible to ever come back. So yeah, I thought this card was so good outside of the Dango matchup, which what it was originally intended for, but it was like so strong against like so many other matchups. It's like kind of like playing 6 boss, like not really, but like it's like sometimes like a 5th or 6th boss in some certain scenarios, which is like a lot more valuable than like playing at like a Toadstool line, which only gets set up in one matchup.
Got it. How did Liam Hilberton beat you?
Liam's really good, and the Zorak matchup is definitely like a really complicated matchup to play, and probably one that I don't play that often. Game 1, I got like a really big lead on him because he dead drew, but I think I could have made my board a bit more stable in the end game, because he got me with an Iono Watchtower, and his deck has like better onboard draw, right? He has like 3 Zorks in play. He's like bossing my monkey every turn, and eventually I get to a spot, and I can't really hit into a Zork, right? Because it's just gonna get blown up by the Restaurant's attack. So I was kind of sitting there just doing nothing for a while. And he made a really big comeback, and I ended up coming down to me hitting the Kang double heads, and I hit the first heads, and then I whipped the second one. And then the second game, it was really close, but I ended up ripping too many important resources out of his hand, and I was able to just like at the end of the game, he just didn't have any attackers left, so I won because of that. And then game 3 was really close. There was a point in the game where off 2 Fezzes and 2 top decks, if I drew an out to a monkey, I would have won on the spot. But I ended up completely whiffing. I think it was like probably like 65 to 70% for me to win, but it didn't go my way. So I ended up losing. But I had a lot of fun playing against Liam. It was probably the most fun I've had playing Pokemon ever. So I didn't really feel bad losing, and I was cheering him on to win, but he ended up losing in top 4.
Dang. So changes for Seattle?
I would definitely like to play this deck again. I think I'm really good at it, and I think it's really fun. I think the only worry is if people start learning how to play against Ericas, then it's like a bit annoying. But it is like kind of the Dango matchup from the Dango player. They have to be really smart, and there's like a specific line they need to do for it to actually work. And I'm hoping a lot of people might not know it or learn it or bother to learn about it. So this deck could still really be good. Because it's like, honestly, it only has one bad matchup. The only matchup you really don't want to see is Dango. And even then, you can beat a lot of the Dangos. It's only against the ones that are really prepped and really good that you're losing to. And like the Ice Cream, that is the only card I really did not use at all this event. It would probably just be second E-Switch or something else. But I think every other card was like basically perfect besides this.
Right on. All right, shoutouts?
Yeah, just shout out my parents and my brother for always supporting me. Shout out all my friends. Like it's kind of hard to name them all just because there's so many of them. But there's like a lot of people that helped work on this list and have helped test and just like get to a spot where we can all be very successful together. So shout out to all my friends in our testing group.
Cool. Thank you very much. See you in Seattle.
Hi, everyone.